Welcome back. Well, black women know it by different names. Creamy crack from Chris Rock's documentary Good Hair, perms, and of course its more common name, relaxers. But due to some of the ingredients being linked to breast and uterine cancer, the FDA is proposing a ban. Now, Dr. John Lipman with the Atlanta Fibroid Center is here with more on the possible ingredient ban and other alternatives to consider here. So what a topic. I'm so glad you're here today, Dr. Lipman.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. All right, let's dive right into this. Let's start by talking about the research and the risks.
So last year, the NIH came out with a study of tens of thousands of women that were using hair relaxing products versus those that did not, and found that those that did use the relaxers had more than 2 times the incidence of getting uterine cancer. Now, fortunately, the risk is still low, but it's over 2 times the risks for people that didn't use these products at all. And that prompted the FDA recently to propose a ban on only one of the kind of main offenders in hair relaxers, formaldehyde.
Which, I'm going to be honest with you, as someone who gets relaxers and has for a really long time, to know that that is inside of it, I mean, what in the world? Formaldehyde?
Right. It's an embalming agent. So what in the world are we using these agents? And not only does it prevent or present risks to the women and occasionally men that use these products, the salon workers that have to breathe in this stuff over years and chronically, you're putting them at, so there's an environmental risk to them too.
Very, very interesting. So it sounds like you're not surprised that this is happening and that honestly, this is long overdue.
Way overdue. Right? I mean, and there's other agents in these relaxers. So it's not only the formaldehyde, which the FDA is only making a proposal which wouldn't go into effect till next April if it gets passed. So there's still some ambiguity. Not a done deal. So that should be done immediately. I mean, this is overdue. Second, there's other agents, phthalates and parabens, which are both known. Parabens are known to increase risk for breast cancer, and phthalates are biochemically similar to estrogen. And we don't know a lot about fibroids, for instance, where they come from, but they grow with estrogen. And that's why they grow with pregnancy, why they typically aren't an issue for women in menopause. Those phthalates mimic estrogen. So you're raising your risk not only for these benign fibroids, but also some estrogen-sensitive cancers, breast, uterine.
Wow. Wow. Shocking to hear.
Right.
This research.
And there's no transparency. That's another problem, that these agents, you don't know what's inside of them. They can hide behind, you know, the labels. Sometimes they're incomplete. Sometimes they don't even list it. If they have any kind of perfumes, you don't have to say that there's phthalates in it. So there's a lot of work that really needs to be done. And there also should be alternatives. What is the alternative to not using these products? Well, the alternatives, I mean, hot irons, some oil treatments, natural oils, you know, but more needs to be done, and it's a very complicated process, but hopefully the FDA will do the right thing and not only eliminate formaldehyde, but eliminate these other chemicals which are clearly having a negative impact on women, but particularly women of color who disproportionately use these products and are also much more likely to die from these cancers.
So concerning, which you see a lot of this firsthand in your work and
at
your
the Atlanta
patients.
Fibroid Center, we don't see a lot of patients with uterine cancer, but we focus on the benign tumors, the uterine fibroids, which are still sensitive to these estrogen-like agents.
Something we were talking about during the break, Dr. Lipman, is just how perception has changed a lot when it comes to black women's hair, right? It used to be the norm. Everybody that I knew, including my mom, all had relaxers, including me, and it was just the norm. And then we've seen this shift happen to where it's more of a focus on natural hair and embracing that and really celebrating that, which is amazing, especially when we're talking about this.
It's great, and I'm glad that we've seen that shift. Definitely more women in my practice are wearing their hair naturally. They feel good about themselves. It projects who they are. It's like, and they own it, and it's great. Using relaxers just because in the past, from a stigma of maybe feeling less professional if they did that or whatever the issue was, I'm glad that's going away.
So is it possible to still have these products, to still have perms and relaxers by removing these ingredients? And is pressure starting to be put on these manufacturers to come up with other solutions?
Well, I hope so. There really doesn't seem to be yet, but maybe these things with the FDA and other pressures will do that, because there does need to be alternatives.
Yeah. Sounds to me like what you're for when it comes to this is transparency so that consumers can make an informed decision.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We want women to be able to see, or the men that use these products, to see exactly what is in there, because there is very little or no transparency in a lot of these products. And if you know what's in there and you still decide to use them, okay, that's fine. But now you're making an informed decision where heretofore that hasn't been the case.
If someone's got some questions, maybe they want to find you or check out Atlanta Fibroid Center, where are you located? How can we get in touch with you, Dr.
Well, our
Lipman?
center's in Smyrna. Our website is atlii.com. There's a lot of information there. We have an Instagram page, dr_, my last name, dr_LIPMAN. We have a YouTube channel, Atlanta Fibroid Center. There are hundreds of videos, even some on relaxers, so they can watch videos on fibroids and what we're doing at the Atlanta Fibroid Center. So it's pretty easy these days to find me.
Just a quick search will be all you need. Dr. John Lipman with the Atlanta Fibroid Center. Thank you so much for shining a light on this morning.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that very much.
Appreciate you coming in.